Excellent. Well, I am so happy to see you all here today. It's a beautiful day to learn, and we're going to learn from one of the masters, Mr. Rod Colon. If this is your first time coming to an accelerator call, could you just put the number 1 in the chat real quick so I can see how many people are newbies? Okay, we have quite a few. Wow, beautiful. Christine, welcome. Carrie, welcome. I'm so happy to know you and get to know you and share learnings with you. I host a monthly calls with the Accelerator Group, and anyone who wants to join is absolutely welcome. We started the group in early 2020, just as COVID was coming and rearing its ugly head. A lot of people were losing their jobs, unfortunately. And we started with a very small group of job seekers who really needed to have that community, who really wanted to know what they should be doing. How can we get back into the job market in the middle of a pandemic? And we met every week. And I was honored to be the designated career coach for all those months and months and months that we met on a weekly basis. Last year, we moved into a monthly format where I host and I have a different guest speaker each month. And so we are thrilled that we have progressed. We have gone from a very mighty group of small but mighty group of 6, and we are now well over 500, I think around 550 members of the Accelerator Group. You are more than welcome to join the Accelerator Group. Anyone who's in the job search arena or can help job seekers is welcome to join the accelerators, and that way you get to see all of our events that are coming up. And it's a private group, a LinkedIn group. And so if you are not yet a member, please either ask me to join, you can connect with me, and then I will get you in, or you can get the link directly from Lori is putting them into the chat now. Next month, don't miss it. We are honored to have our guest speaker is going to be Kevin Turner. This is his second trip to the accelerators. He was here last year. And Kevin, if you don't know Kevin, you should. Kevin Turner is the one that I go to. It's my go-to for all new LinkedIn features. In 2023, there were over 150 new features alone. And so he's going to kick off 2024 for us, so that you get to know everything you need to know about LinkedIn. If you're using LinkedIn as a resource for finding your next job, you need to know the changes that LinkedIn provides us. Some of them are wonderful, some of them not so wonderful, but you still need to know what those changes are. So I encourage you to join that. Link is ready now, and you can join that. Join us and register for January and start your year off right. And hopefully by the end of January, you will be employed and you won't need to come back here. But we are always welcome you, and learn as much as you can, for sure. We like to share learning. That's what I'm all about. And a lot of people on this call are also there with me. Sue, thank you for the pom-poms. In order to do that, I'm going to ask you to put the golden nuggets that you hear that Rod is going to share with us into the chat. Because what I do is, after the call, I'm going to take those golden nuggets, those things that are really meaningful to you or something that you want to remember. I'm going to take all those golden nuggets and I'm going to make them into a post. And I'm going to try and put that up hopefully tomorrow with the link to the recording. So if you've missed it or you want to share that with anyone, just look for my post tomorrow morning, and you will have all those nuggets. But I'm asking you to help us, to help each other, to post the nuggets that you learn from Rod into the chat. All right, so I'm going to start talking about Rod. Here's an interesting fact about Rod Colon and myself. Rod and I were introduced by one of the founding members of the accelerators, which speaks to how important networking is, because Rod and I would not have connected had my dear friend Kelly not said, Mindy, you need to speak to Rod. He would be a great speaker for your group. And so that's the power of networking. And Rod and I immediately understood each other, because he has been speaking about owning your own career for years. And the book I published in 2020 is called, long before I met Rod, by the way, You Are the CEO of Your Career. And so immediately we were on the same page. And I think he said during that first call when we first met was, he said that he was my brother from another mother because we were so aligned in our job seeking philosophy. Rod is a nationally recognized motivational speaker and career strategist. He's bilingual in Spanish, and he's an adjunct professor, a published author, a lecturer, a radio show host, and a career services expert. When Rod talks about how to own your own career, he's talking about ownership of your career the same way a CEO would manage their own business, with full accountability, mental discipline, smart branding and marketing, and relentless gathering of competitive intelligence, which is something that Sue spoke to us about in last month. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Mr. Colon. Rod, are you with us?
Yes. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, and great to be with you. Let's give Mindy a hand. I mean, just give her a virtual hand for, the work that she's done over the years and really helping individuals. I mean, just continued success, Mindy, and God continue to bless all of the work that you do.
Thank you.
So yeah, here's this kid from the Bronx, Rod Colon. I'm actually Rodrigo Alejandro Colon Jr. My dad is Rodrigo. My son is Rodrigo, and I even got a grandson, Rodrigo. So we have a bunch of Rodrigos here, and it is great to be with you. And as you said, it's a beautiful day. I thought of, oh, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right? And we are. This is the neighborhood of accelerators. It is just a wonderful team and a network, and let's be neighbors and friends and helping each other. So I talk about networking as far as I got Rachel's back, and Rachel's got my back. I got Cyrus's back, and he's got my back, and that's what networking is. We have each other's backs, and that's just so important. So a little bit about me. I grew up in the Bronx. Parents are from the beautiful island of Puerto Rico, la Isla del Encanto, and worked at J.P. Morgan for 14 years. And back then it was called recruiting. Now it's fancy talent acquisition. And so that was my thing. I used to just shake hands and welcome and tell me about yourself. And, so I did that mostly for the technologists down in the Wall Street area. I have my undergrad degree in business administration, and I have my master's degree in theology. So people say, theology? You'll be a pastor? No. I'm a coach of many, and I need my coach. So that coach Patrick has to have his coach. So I got my coach, and that's what I love. So aside from having 3 kids and 5 grandkids and 2 in the oven baking for 2024, I love what I do, and I'm blessed to work my passion, to truly provide hope for individuals as young as 12-year-old middle school kids in the inner city through an organization called HISPA, to professionals around the globe, to executives as well, and helping them to manage their career as this great enterprise. It's this powerful, powerful enterprise. And so, as a business, and in any business, and typically I ask individuals, let's take a look here at let's see who's got there. They don't have their pictures up there. Hey, Lori, how are you? Good. Could you open up your mic, Lori?
Sure. Hi.
All right. So, Lori, here I am, and we haven't met yet, and we haven't planned this out. So there's nothing underneath my sleeves. There's no magic here. But, Lori, you're now the CEO of Lori Inc. Enterprises.
Awesome.
How do you feel?
I feel in charge and empowered and confident.
Yeah. And some will feel that way, and some will like, oh, I'm not too sure about this. And so really the next question, Lori, is so what is it that you're great at?
I'm good at helping people.
All right. And so this is now how we begin our business. Who we are, what do we do, what are we great at, What are some of the outcomes? So you said I'm good with people. So in my mind, as I'm networking with you or being interviewed or whatever, I'm thinking, oh, great with people. So are you a therapist, a physical therapist? You work with people, you good with people that way?
I'm a teacher.
All right, so now we begin to fine tune what this business of Lori Inc. is about. A teacher, what do you teach in college? You teach in high school? You teach elementary? Tell me what you teach. Professionals?
I teach middle school English.
Oh, middle school English. So we need to talk because immediately right there at this moment, at this point, middle school, I do a lot of work with middle school kids, inner city kids, Latino kids in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, South Florida, and Texas. And so we're now connecting right there. So what do you, so tell me what grade level? Sixth, seventh, eighth grade?
These are seventh graders this year.
Beautiful, beautiful. And how long have you been teaching?
About 15 years. I also used to
Fantastic.
teach in the city schools, so but now I'm not in the city schools anymore. But it has been about
All
15
right.
years since I started.
And where do you live?
North Carolina.
Oh, what part?
Charlotte.
All right. So as you're sharing, now I'm thinking North Carolina. I'm thinking about the head of project management for the state of North Carolina, who I went to high school with. So this is the beautiful thing about being able to share who you are with others. And I know that as Rod Cologne from the Bronx, I wouldn't say much. Mindy comes to me and says, Rod, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, I'm Rod from the Bronx. I got a couple of kids, I'm no big deal. And some of it is cultural, some of it is spiritual, how you grew up, what's in your DNA. What do you say? And for many of us, as we're speaking with individuals or talking to them or whatever, we're just like, you know, I'm either no big deal or I'm begging, which is, Mindy says, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, yeah, I'm Rod Cologne. I'm looking for work. And, I've been unemployed now for 2 years and I need help. And Mindy, can you help me? Before even having a conversation or just discussing and all of that. But as a business owner of your career, of this wonderful enterprise, but the best business you're involved with, you're Cool Hand Luke. You know who you are. You know what you do well. You know what those outcomes have been. You know how to share that. So the thought about what am I going to say about me is no big deal. I know who I am. We all do. Matter of fact, we could put a nice little, in Spanish, they call it novelas, a soap opera about all of our stories, all of our experiences that we have. And that is so important as we move into the job search, the networking, the connecting, and all of that that's going on, right? So let's take a look here. And who else is on there live? Cheryl, can you open up your mic? Cheryl. Cheryl, del Cuira. Cheryl going once, Cheryl going twice.
I'm here.
All right, everybody, stay alive. Good Rod is always connecting.
Sorry, it
within
took
the
me a minute
business.
to get to my mic.
Yeah. So Cheryl, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I am in human resources. I am in Michigan. I started out like you with a business administration degree, and then 15 years later, I got my master's degree in HR. And I've worked in companies like state government and also companies like Ford and Pepsi.
Beautiful, beautiful. And are you looking for work now, Cheryl?
Yes, I'm looking for a position in the HR, around the HR director-ish level. I'd like to really focus in talent management, change management, OD. That's where I really want to focus.
All right, so Cheryl, here it is. You're running this great enterprise in human resources and talent acquisition. And so we're all business owners. And then now the next piece is, what's the market demand for our business? Who is truly interested in procuring our services? So Cheryl, what have you found over the last 3 months as far as the market demand for your services?
The market demand is definitely getting a little bit slower. Because of the, partly because of the holidays, but partly because, again, since I'm in Michigan and we're heavily dominated by auto, it's been a little bit slower here. And I'm trying to, I'd like to be in a different field. I'd like to be in medical device, but you know, I'm breaking into a new field and trying to network.
Mhm. But you want to stay in the medical device, but within human resources in your specialty.
Yes.
Okay. So now that I have a sense of what's the market demand, where it's higher, now we have business decisions to make, right? Do I stay in the Michigan area? Do I move out to another area? It's a business decision. Doesn't mean I have to go, but these are all things that I'm thinking about. Do I modify what it is that, in essence, the industry that I'm in or I'm moving out is what Cheryl's looking to do, right? So we got all that. These are all things that we do as business owners of our careers. It's not about, oh, woe is me and I can't believe it, or I'm, as many will say, I'm entitled. I'm entitled to work. I'm entitled to be at a certain position. I'm entitled to be whatever. No, as business owners, we're not entitled. As business owners, we pursue, we go after it, we get aggressive. We excuses um, we figure out how to work around the situation. So, Cheryl, have you identified individuals in the medical devices industry within 50 miles of where you live?
I've identified, but I'm having trouble breaking in. The one of the places I'd love to go to is Stryker, and Stryker, just talking to different people, they keep it pretty close to the vest. So they you know, so that's my dream, but I can't seem to get there from here.
All right, all right. Cheryl, if you can, if it's not so much of an imposition, could you share your screen and go on LinkedIn?
Okay, so here we are. And
Mhm,
then
mhm.
sorry, you saw my forehead there. Let's see, how do I share my screen to go into
Yeah, it's
LinkedIn?
kind of on the bottom. It'll be green. It'll have
Oh,
share
there it is.
screen.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
All right.
And
And it'll ask you to make
then
sure that everything is off except for LinkedIn. And we're just gonna, like I said, nothing underneath my sleeves. This is not my profile. This is Cheryl's profile. This has nothing to do with it. So people say, oh, well, that's Rod. He knows everybody. No, we're just
hold
gonna see
on.
what Cheryl has. So
Give me a second. Let me
you
close some
you take your
things.
time. I have a radio show every Monday. We always know how to add little things of that from that. But hey, Cyrus, this is you're like, this guy is interesting here. So like, ooh, this is a little different than our typical webinars there. So yeah. And really, as we're doing that, as I go to my little commercial break here, all of you, all of you are welcome to connect with me. All of you are welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn, ping me on LinkedIn, listen to my radio show. No strings attached. Not here to. I do my. I love what I do, and this is my passion and my mission in helping people. Matter of fact, my Jewish brothers and sisters always say, one of the mitzvahs is that helping someone get back on their feet is one of the greatest things an individual can do. And so there. All right, so Cheryl, we're getting close there. I see you're have started sharing there. All right, beautiful. All right, so excellent. So Cheryl, now what I'd like you to do is you see where that IN button there on the left-hand side is there? Just click on the IN button, the blue or the upper left-hand side. That just basically resets. And if you can
I
increase, yeah, just
The
increase
link,
the size
the
of your
LinkedIn
screen.
button. The blue.
There you go.
that one?
Perfect.
Okay.
Exactly. Precisely. Beautiful. Now, are you on a laptop? Are you on a cell phone? Where are you
I
doing
am
this
on
from?
a laptop and I just moved
Beautiful.
to my new apartment, so I'm working on getting um a better
Okay.
signal.
So how do you approach the search? Show me how you do a search for people.
Oh, okay. So I will go here. Come on. So I will go Stryker. And then let's see. I think I'll go to view page.
All right. So here, pause it, hit the back arrow. Just hit the back arrow real quick. And this is what I wanted to see. For some reason, this is not populating up first. Click on people there on the left-hand side.
Right here.
Exactly. And that's where I typically start my search, from right here. Okay. And so what I want to do is let's go to connections, hit the drop down and click on level ones and level twos. Okay. And show results. Okay. Now, why do I do level ones and level twos? Level ones are my friends. These are the individuals who's got my back, and these are the individuals I have their back. Now, for many of you, when we do an audit of our network, of all of our level ones, and we're to do we grade each individual in our network. An A is someone I've reached out to and connected somehow in the last 90 days. I give them an A. A B is someone I know really well, but I haven't connected with them in quite some time. And a C is, who are they? When did I accept them? When did they accept me? I just don't remember. And give them a grade of C. And those individuals, what you want to do is you want to make a decision as a business owner. Do you want to keep them in your network and reestablish a connection with them or remove them? That's what I do. Right? LinkedIn to me is about people who I know and I have access to and kind of going it that way. That to me is important. All right, so we got, you have individuals. Now we're going to go to current company because we put Stryker there in the profile on the top, but we want to go to current company Stryker. That means that they're currently working there. So in a current company, look for Stryker right there, perp, show results. So from 5,000, we're now down to, run roll please, 2,000. Okay. And so now you have access to 2,000 individuals currently working at Stryker, and you probably were not aware of that. Level one's people you know, level two people your friends know, right? Which is great. Now, let's now take a look at all filters there and go all the way to the bottom and just put in some type of a title. Some type of a title. All the way. You're entitled there. Maybe human resources, maybe title acquisition, whatever it is. Just do. Beautiful. Show results. Okay. So Cheryl, how do you feel now?
I feel pretty good. Perhaps I can make some inroads with one of these 77 people.
Now the thing is, how do you do that? How do you make the inroads? This is where I specialize in this piece. And as a coach, I love the coaching, the actual, the sports analogies of how to block, how to tackle, how to pass the ball, how to, what do you do in the moment, right? So let's take a look at that first person, Lauren Derringer. Let's look at her profile.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Never push the white connect button.
You make a good point, Clint.
Yeah. So here it is. So Lauren, you don't know her, but you know three individuals who know Lauren. And this is where rubber meets the road on LinkedIn. How well do you know those three individuals? So scroll back up to the top and say we have an Art Hartman, a Peter Gonzalez, and a Matt Korchian. How well do you know them, Cheryl?
Not very. Matt I connected with, and he's actually from my hometown, but he won't speak to me now. It's like, again, it's like they'll connect, but then they won't have a conversation. Peter, I could probably get to. I don't know him well, but I know people that he knows. And frankly, I think I just met this guy recently too.
Okay. So here's the key. And this is where rubber meets the road. These individuals are your connectors to an individual who could be immensely helpful to you. But if I don't know these individuals, if I haven't spoken to them, I just can't remember. The probability of me reaching out to Matt, Peter, and Art to connect with the person who I need as Stryker is going to be very low. It's going to be very uncomfortable. That's why it's very important every day you are constantly staying in touch with your network. All right. So you mentioned Matt, and certainly the beauty, and I don't want you to reveal this or whatever, but if you went to messages, you will see the dialogue that has gone on between you and Matt, you and Peter, you and Art, right? What did it go? What did you say? That's the beauty of LinkedIn, that you're able to just go back in time as to how did we meet and whatever. It keeps it there for you. It logs all of that information for you. So it becomes right here is that, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink, because the person who's in between me and the person I would love to talk to is someone I'm really uncomfortable in asking them for help, right? So we need to, all of us as business owners, improve. So for instance, Cheryl, if you mentioned to me, and you were paying me $5,000 a month to be your, R&D person for your enterprise, and you asked me in our meeting, well, Rod, tell me, how's it going with our LinkedIn team, our data, and how have you stayed connected with them? I said, well, I don't have a request. I only reach out to someone when I need something from them. You would probably say, Rod, that's not good enough, and you probably let me go, especially at $5,000 a clip on a monthly basis. So we need to see ourselves in these roles of any organization, that these are the things that we do on a consistent basis, and not just when we need a job or we're concerned of a position, but all the time. And people say to me, well, Rod, that's a lot of work. Oh, come on, really, man? I work, I got my family, I like my streaming TV, I'm just watching The Gilded Age, and oh, another program is coming on. Hey, this is business. That's a choice. Now it's up to you. So now, Cheryl, if you can, just click on that IN button on the top left. It's the reset. That's kind of my reset button. And they're in the middle there in the top. It says My Network. If you could click on that. All right. And then on the left-hand side, it's going to show you your connections. You have 1,100 individuals. Click on that. All right. And this is your homework. This is your audit. At the end of the year audits, right? And just to kind of what's an inventory. Well, this is your inventory. These are the individuals you have in your network. These are your right-hand folks. These are the folks who got your back. And let's give them each a grade. Allison, A. Samantha, maybe a B. Jay, a C. And begin, and this is a great end-of-year process, operational process, to make 2024 the best networking year ever. But let's start here. These are all individuals who could potentially help you to connect with others. Show them the love, connect with them. Now, people say, well, Rod, that's I have to reach out to everyone. And I says, well, I did this as a challenge last year. I have 8,000 level ones, and I divided that number by 200 days of the year, and just sent out a note. And was I able to do it? Yes, I did it. It was not easy. I was doing like 30 or 40 a day, but I just wanted to challenge myself to just reach out. And really all I said was, how are you doing, Mindy? What's keeping you busy? That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Many would say, nothing. They never responded. Matter of fact, they don't check their emails on LinkedIn. And others responded, I'm great. How are you? And some others will say, Rod, you reached out to me at a great time. Let me tell you what's going on. And it doesn't have to be about careers and business. It could be about their family. It could be about health. It could be about so many other things. This is much, 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 much more than a job search tool. It's about your network. It's about your people, right? So Cheryl, this is an area that I would say, just take a peek at that, because it's going to be these individuals who are going to have your back when you need them. Now, let's go to go back to click on My Network again, Cheryl. And you're going to notice there, just scroll down a little bit there. You could take that. right? They usually give you things of birthdays, anniversaries, and new jobs. Do you know where that is, Cheryl, when you're looking at the view?
No, huh?
Okay, so scroll up to the top and let's see if we could find that. But everyone has an opportunity for all of their level ones, and it's usually right here. And I don't see it. Maybe someone else can help me out here. But where actually, when it's their anniversary, job anniversary, their birthday, or they switch jobs, you see it. And then what I will do is send them, a piece of information there from that standpoint there. So, hey, let's give Cheryl a hand. Thank you so much, Cheryl. You can stop sharing. Awesome, 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 awesome job. And
Thank you.
just just appreciate that because we all have access to that. And this guy, Kevin Turner, I'll assure you, I will be at next month's Accelerator because if he's got the latest in LinkedIn tips, I want to know the latest in LinkedIn tips because LinkedIn is a vital tool in my CEO of Me Inc. business and enterprise. I just want to stay on top of it. Just like I'm on top of Bard, my consultants, Mr. Bard. You know Mr. Bard, Mindy? You know Mr. Bard?
Yeah.
Google's Bard, the AI, or Chat GPT. I mean, these are great, absolute great tools for the CEO of Me. Absolutely outstanding. I call them my consultants. They're my consultants. They kind of help me out there from that perspective. So Mindy has a checklist as well as a worksheet that I provided her that she'll be happy to share with everyone. And I'm going to kind of just go around this because over the years, I always thought if we can put the job search in an operational pattern, just like a little, a cheat sheet, a checklist to help us in what do I do. So I want to cover that with you. And certainly if you have questions, by all means, just, drop it in the chat. Just open up your mic and share. So let me share my screen and share this piece right here. All right. So here it is. Rod Cologne's quality control job search checklist. I've been using this for quite some time. And the whole piece here is that for you to begin is you're running a great enterprise. You're running a wonderful business. So here I have, let's say here, let me select somebody. I believe there was a gentleman. All right. David Mills. David Mills, if you can open up your mic. David Mills from Concord, New Hampshire. Welcome, David. All right. David, are you there? David, did I put you to sleep? All right. Check one, David. All right, there's David. Awesome. Welcome.
I didn't think you were going to be calling on me at all.
How could I not call this looking good guy with that, is that the olive shirt there and beautiful tree in the background, wonderful smile.
Yeah, okay.
I said, you're looking good. You're looking good. I had to call on you. But here it is. You're the CEO of David Mills Inc. Enterprises. You're thinking as a business owner. You have great services. There have been wonderful outcomes in your life, in your career. And you're now looking for your next client. That's right. And there's a difference there. It's a client. I'm looking for my next client, okay, to provide a service. And as you're looking at, as I mentioned, as far as what's the market demand, you identify a position that you're thinking, yeah, this could be right. And then, so the first thing here is a general guideline is you own a business called Me Inc. Okay? Your title is CEO. Your family, your loved ones are your board of directors. You work for them. I work for my family. I work for my wife and 3 kids and my grandkids and my family. And I provide a great, outstanding service to my client. There's a difference there. There's a mindset shift there. Now, the first thing I look at in that, no question yet, but I want to look at that as a 70% match. So as I'm looking at the job description, I want to make sure that I at least have 70% of what they're looking for And as I reach all the responsibilities and what you need to bring to the table, as a good attorney, I'm able to basically make a mark as to how have I done these things? What was the outcome of doing that? What's my pitch? How am I going to build my case around that? That's very important as I'm looking at the job description.
Mhm.
Now, for women in general, it's not me. This is just the statistics show that women look at a job description and feel that they have to be 100% match, and men look at it and say if it's a 50% match, I'm pretty good. So I say 70% match, and those 30%, because we're never going to be a perfect match.
Mhm.
Those 30%, what I would say is in building your case is that these are the areas where I'm excited about this position. So if they're asking for A and B, and all I have is A and not B, I'm going to counter that with, well, I've done things that are similar to B, but that's really why I'm really excited about this opportunity. If I said that about every point, we're not a match, right? And then, so the next thing here is that what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm able to get this information, my job, my resume into the organization as quickly as possible, and it's either going to be the um, through the black hole, the portal, right, or it's going to be through an employee referral, right? So from an employee referral standpoint, I want to make sure, right? I want to make sure that 48 hours, within 48 hours, I'm able to take my paperwork, my documentation, my resume into that organization one way or the other. I'm either going to go through an employee referral, which most people just do not ask, do not even look at, or the black hole, the portal. So at this point now, I'm looking for level ones in LinkedIn to see who do I know, and let's say it's Stryker. And I'm going to ask them, there's a great opportunity. There's a wonderful opportunity inside Stryker. I would love for you to get the credit. What should be my next step? And that's just the process and operational process we will always do. Now, if I'm running my search and I have no one at Stryker, I move on to submit my resume into the portal. And that we have to do quickly, within 48 hours before we get cut off.
Mhm.
And then we move on to the networking phase of our process. Because once we have our resume into the company one way or another, now in all businesses, they call it triangulating, triangulation in sales, is I want to pick up as much business intelligence inside that organization, right? So
What is
go ahead.
what is magical about this 48 hours? You can't submit after that?
You can, but what I want to do is a sense of urgency,
Oh,
right? They may close the position, it
right.
may be fit, right? So it's not filled, but they just closed it up because they received enough resumes. So I
Mhm.
want to make sure that within 48 hours of seeing this opportunity, I get my paperwork in, or I've reached out someone internally who will be my employee referral. I want to get that process going quickly. But once I have that done and I got at least, I have my name in the hat, now is the important piece, which is the networking phase. And as I did with Cheryl, is we're going to look for individuals inside that organization. Now we're going to move beyond just people I know, but it's now people my friends know, level ones and level twos. And we're going to look for two different types of individuals. Individuals that are in the human resources talent acquisition side, and we're going to look for individuals who are tied to that department, or users of that department, or clients of that department, or support that department, so that I can gather some information around that. And I have to tell you, very, very few people do this. In business and in sales, it's always done. That's the best way we get inside. The inside, scoop, as they say. We need to do that for ourselves. So when we're looking and as I was showing with Cheryl, in that section where it's title, use the title of talent acquisition, talent management, human resources, recruiter, recruitment, staffing, any of those titles to identify individuals inside that organization that have something to do with the recruiting of individuals. Now, if they're level 1, I know them. If they're level 2, it's a friend of mine who knows that person. And here is where it becomes the piece of the process, which is, well, what do I tell my friend to connect me to that talent acquisition person? And what you want to share with them is their level 1 individual, hopefully someone they know well. I would love to speak to them and talk to them to seek their wisdom, their counsel, their advice on this opportunity, and include it. And in LinkedIn, you could put your resume as well as the job description. I include that as well. And I'm seeking their guidance if to connect me with that person. And I'm not asking them to hire me. I'm not asking them to push my paperwork somewhere. I'm not looking for them to be my messenger or gopher. I'm simply seeking their advice, their wisdom. 2 reasons for that. One is, if I ask you, David, I'm seeking your advice, I'm seeking your wisdom, I'm seeking your guidance, it allows you to share with me whatever you want to share. Versus what many ask is that, do you know the manager? And I'd like to connect with that manager. Could you introduce me to that manager? They could have done a lot more for you. They may think it's a bit bold to do that. They don't know you that well if it's a level 2. The words that I consistently use is seeking your wisdom, your advice, your guidance. And I'll do that for individuals in the human resources area. And I'll also do exactly the same thing with individuals who are in that department, who are clients of that department internally, who are users of that department, support that department. So I'm gathering as much information. So really what I'm looking for here is if I can find 1 or 2 or 3 individuals in HR and 5 or 6 individuals in that department or close to that department, I'm going to have great information as I move through this process. The first thing I'm going to have is that if I'm blessed to have an interview, these are the individuals who I can check back with to see, how did I really do? What did I do well in? And for that entire process of the life cycle of me as a candidate for that organization, I have people built in inside who can help and support me to gather real information for me. And I'll say that most people are just not doing that. All right.
Rod,
So there's
Rod,
more information. We have 10 minutes left.
right, and you have 2 questions, Rod. Would you like to address
Oh,
them?
yeah, let's so let me, before we do that, let me just say that's the philosophy. You're running a great enterprise, and because I'm a business owner of a wonderful process of organization, we need to do what companies do. And having your network to help and support you at level 1 or level 2 is critically important. Right now, I can go on for hours on this. I've been sharing this for, oh gosh, over a decade, but we got 9 minutes left and I want to answer questions. So go on ahead, Mindy, and ask the questions.
Sure. And Rod, we're going to bring you back because you have a lot more to cover for sure. We just kind of even hit the tip of the iceberg, but I do want to give these people the opportunity to ask the questions while we're here. Is that okay for you?
Absolutely.
All right, Clint, you were first. You're up, sir.
Thanks, Mindy. Hey, Rod, relative to, I mean, I've reached out to so many contacts on LinkedIn from HR and recruiting and get very little to no response back on some of the target companies. But with LinkedIn Premium, you do have the ability to send a message. Is it worthwhile to target company to find the right recruiter and through a LinkedIn message, send them your resume versus a connection request? Because the connection requests fall on deaf ears or deaf eyes.
Yeah, I'm only connecting with individuals who I've met, I've interacted with some way. I'm not going to do a cold call or a cold message or a cold connection, right? I just don't do that. It's got to be based on something. Now, what excites a recruiter, both an agency recruiter, an executive recruiter, or a talent acquisition recruiter internally, is that I may have a wonderful candidate for an opportunity. So what's first, the resume or the job description? I'm always going to lead with the job description that this is a great opportunity for me, and I want to make sure that I make you look good. I help you make a fee, whatever that is. So I always want to go that way. If you're finding that you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn who you do not know, you have not interacted, you've not, they haven't done a speech and you've connected with them, boy, I just don't do that. That's not in my operations. That to me is cold calls, and I haven't done cold calls in decades. So food for thought. Now, if I see somebody that's a level 2 that I really want to connect with, I'm not going to send them a note directly. I'm going to go through my level 1.
Yeah, agreed. I do
Ask
that for sure. But if that's not available, because a lot of times those connections I don't have a second to that, right? Because it's a company that I typically wouldn't have interactions with, or my network wouldn't have interactions. So
I would lead with if there's an opportunity, people get excited. If I'm just interested in a company, people are going to be less excited.
thanks.
Thanks, Clint. Neil, you're up next.
Hi, Rod. I've been really enjoying your tips and advice this morning with regards to being able to get in contacting the second level. And I think I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you are saying is that we contact our first level connections that we know well, and then we ask them for an introduction because there was an opportunity we felt that was just fantastic for us. Am I understanding what you are saying?
Yes, but it doesn't have to be because there's a spot. We do R&D, research and development department, and sales and marketing. If there's a job description, sales and marketing, I'm selling. And I'm selling with my background, what I've done, my outcomes, my accomplishments. That's the sales side. But they're going to be individuals in my network, level 2s, that I would love to talk to them. They're in my space. I want to know what's going on. I want to see what's there. So that ask of the level 1 is simply an asking because of their background. Typically, what I say to individuals is that, what is it about? So if I'm asking Mindy for a connection to Neil, I'm going to say to Mindy, this is what's in Neil's background, what's in his profile that I'm really excited about. I think he's extraordinary in these areas. This is a part 2, the company Neil works for. I've done a lot of research on this organization. I'm sure Neil can help me out. And then the last part of that request, or that ask, is what is it about me that would make for a good conversation? Because I need to protect Mindy. Mindy is the one who has the most to lose here. She's got the connection to Neil. So I have to protect Mindy by providing her with a good value proposition as to why to have that conversation. Then Mindy will then say, yeah, I value this request from Rod. Let's make it happen. Mindy can send a note to both of us. Mindy can send a note to Neil first and then circle back with me. I leave that up to Mindy. I'm not going to control that. That's Mindy, but I'm going to give Mindy why I want to speak to Neil, what is it about Neil's organization that he works for, and what is it about my background that would make for a really good conversation where I'm seeking Neil's wisdom, guidance, advice, and working it that way. Thank you, Neil.
Thanks, Neil. Luzette, we have maybe 3 minutes left.
Okay, I'll be quick.
Okay.
Thanks, Rod, for all the tidbits. This question is either for you or Mindy, whoever knows the answer to this question. But I've been working with an outplacement firm that my company provided. And one of the tools it has is a cover letter writer, which I've been using. I put in my resume in the job description and it spits out a great cover letter. I was just wondering, do companies like check the cover letters to see if if AI is being used on the cover letters?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of work with college students, and I do a lot of work with talent acquisition and campus recruiters of major corporations. And on a consistent basis, they say they don't even look at cover letters, right? They don't waste their time. It's going to be all on the resumes. I can only speak to the companies that I'm working with, from that standpoint. I would have to say that a ChatGPT Bard can do an awesome cover letter for you based on the information you provide. Get to use those tools. These are consultant. It's a tool to use. But I wouldn't spend much time on the cover letter. I'm going to spend a lot of time in my proposal, which is the resume. And I want to make sure that resume lays out what I've done, what were the outcomes, and what's relevant to you. Because think of it, if we're recruiters, right, and we're getting paid 20, 25% fees or internally, and we see a resume that is in harmony with the job description, I would have to be stupid not to bring the person or at least speak with them. We want to make their lives of making that decision as difficult as possible. Now, if we support great documentation with having people on the inside advocating for me, connecting advocates for me inside the organization, that's where we're in the most powerful place. And also having the mindset of, running my career as a business. So for me is the mindset of CEO of me with great paperwork that's in line with what they need and leveraging a network of advocates inside that organization. That's when I'm at my strongest potential with that opportunity.
Thank you, Rod. Luzette, I'm going to put in my 2 cents on this, okay?
Yeah.
I believe that there is a place for cover letters, especially if you are transitioning from one type of career to another, to explain that shift and where your skills will match this new role, for sure. And I would like to, and yes, there's a place for ChatGPT and all those AI, they're wonderful, but you must think of ChatGPT as a suggestion. You've got to customize those cover letters, because I was speaking to a recruiter not a month ago who was laughing so hard because he got the exact same cover letter. He was recruiting for an accounting job, and he got the exact same cover letter from 2 candidates because they both were done by ChatGPT. You must use it as a suggestion. It's a wonderful muse. It's a wonderful, think of it like Rod said, as a consultant. It's a recommendation, but you've got to put your own self into that cover letter if you're going to use one. And I will also tell you that about half the recruiters I talk to don't look at cover letters. The other half look at them a lot. And they look at them for a couple of reasons. Number one, they want to make sure the person can speak and write English, right? That the person understands the company that they're going to and what the mission is of that company and why they would be a good value for that company. And so you cannot assume that no one's reading that cover letter. You must assume people are reading it. And if you want to use ChatGPT, I'm not saying not to, but you've got to customize it.
Yeah,
two things with that. Two things with that. Mindy's point is, one is when you use AI, you have to be extremely specific as to what you have and incorporating your skills in there. So the probability of duplication is highly unlikely because you're putting in, if you just say, job, an elevator pitch for whatever, is generic. No, you want to put in as much information as possible, from that standpoint. And the other thing is, I'm not just relying on my cover letter and paperwork to speak for me. Don't stay there. It's the network that's going to push it. It's your advocates on the inside. That's what makes the biggest difference, right? So if all I'm doing is submitting my resume and putting this great cover letter and leaving it there, I'm still in the black hole.
Rod, this was fabulous. I'm gonna put you on the spot and ask you to commit for another one for 2024. You're good for that?
Always.
Of
Always.
course. All right.
But for everybody here, you don't have to wait for me in 2024. Just connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to have you. You're now part of my family. As in Spanish, we say la familia, right? And we're here. And the other thing is that I wish Mindy, thank you for this opportunity. To all of you, a wonderful holiday season. Relax, do your audits, enjoy the family, enjoy the board of directors, and make 2024 the best year. Know that these are clients. You're not married to these companies. They're your clients. They come and go. You'll always be there. God bless.
Let's put a big round of applause for Rod. If you can put up your hands or your virtual hands, Rod, this was amazing. Thank you so much. The checklist is in the chat. If you'd like to download the chat and have that checklist for your information, please do so. This was fabulous, and we will get Rod back on the calendar for sure. Wishing you all a wonderful December. Remember, this is a crazy busy time of year. take some time for yourself. Okay, take some time to care for yourself and give yourself the time, the rest, the food that you need to keep yourself healthy and vibrant for your family, for sure, and for your continued job search. We need to stay strong and resilient during this really hectic time. Cheryl, thanks for being a guinea pig. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Lori, thank you so much for all of your help. Luzette, Clint, everyone, thank you for your input. David, thank you for being here. Thank you all. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you again soon. And please connect with me and let's see each other on our accelerator calls again. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
everybody.
Have a wonderful
Thank you.
December. Great holiday.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Rod and Mindy, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Rod, I will connect with you on LinkedIn. And Mindy, we just need to continue to talk. So these are
Absolutely.
fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, my
Have a
pleasure.
great day.
Take care. Bye.